Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of The Podcast Strikes Back. My name is George and you're listening to an episode I have been longing to record. Transformers, The Last Night Review. Damn son. And I've got the boys here with me to talk about it and get in depth on this one. Connor.
Hello.
And Benny.
Roll out.
Number 5, Stack 'em Up, 2017. It's been 10 years since the first one. What were you guys expecting going into this one? How have you kind of thought about the Transformers series on the whole? And what were you guys vibing going in?
This is a great series. This is a great series of great films, and I just couldn't wait for the new one.
Great. That sounds
It's
great.
super great.
It just sounds...
Love it.
That's a great opinion.
I think we're pretty much all on board with the idea that this has been steadily getting more and more insane and bad and weird and sad and...
Yeah, I just think... I don't think it has. I think number 2, it was there. I don't think it has migrated any further since 2. I thought that I could not wait for that film to end in the cinema, and I felt exactly the same. This one, I could not wait for it to end.
I'm this is a dark secret, but I'm almost an apologist for some of these films, and I don't know why. I kind of dig the first 3. I have them on Blu-ray. I could probably sit down and watch any of them at any point. I don't. I'd like to clarify that. I do not. But
Just because I can do something.
Yeah, and then the 4th one came out, and I didn't enjoy like one iota of it. It just bummed me out. Maybe it's just me growing up, but I doubt it because I think I could go back. I've been watching some clips from like the first 3 on YouTube and stuff, and enjoying some of it. But
that's the thing. There's little pockets of those first 3 that are genuinely enjoyable. I think, is it the second one where he has that fight in the field where Optimus Prime is taking on like 10 Decepticons? It's fucking awesome. I remember seeing that in the theater and thinking like, this is cool. I remember when I rewatched it at home, that was a scene where I was like, oh, this is almost worth it.
he rips that guy's face apart with his hooks.
Yeah.
Very strange. But yeah, the 4th one absolutely hated, and I didn't have high hopes for this one.
Yeah, I have not enjoyed any of them since the first one. Thought the 4th one, funnily enough, actually, I thought the 4th one was better than the 3rd one. I don't know why. Maybe it was because of Cade Yeager. And how amazing he is as a as a character.
That movie, Stanley Tucci in that movie. Yeah. Well, Stanley Tucci really in anything I enjoy.
Yeah.
So I think when I first watched that,
except The Last Night.
when I first watched it, I was kind of like, oh, there are some interesting character moments.
When you first watched it,
I've told you, I've since all 4 have come out, I've watched them all again.
oh man,
You poor soul.
And
I could never watch 4 again.
oh, it's so much worse the second time. So much worse.
But you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say this is worse than 4. It's probably the worst Transformers film yet.
This is possibly... I made this claim a couple weeks ago about Pirates of the Caribbean 5 being the worst film I've seen in the last few years.
Outrageous.
I now stand corrected. This is the worst movie I've seen in the last few years.
This is the worst film of 2017.
Oh, 100%.
Bottom of the pile.
Oh, not even close.
in terms of blockbusters.
In terms of the films that we've reviewed on this podcast, and all the episodes that we put out this year since March, and everything that we saw earlier this year, including Split and all that, this is the worst film to come out this year. I was so fucking irritated by this film. I could not wait to leave. It kept going on and on. As I said to you guys, I felt like I was in the Dragon Ball Z hyperbolic time chamber. Felt like that 2.5 hour runtime felt like it extended out to be like 3 weeks. And I wanted to poke my eyes out and jump off the balcony that we were sitting on in the cinema and end it because...
Yeah, a lot of noise and fucking yelling, and it was irritating, this film.
You know what this film is? There's a scene in this where they're in a junkyard and there's a lot of characters there. There's Mark Wahlberg's character. There's the young girl. There's all the robots are there. and things keep happening. Like there's bountiful amounts of things happening. Everyone's saying one-liners. Everyone's talking. There's stuff going on. But nothing means anything. There's no drive. There's no intent. There's no purpose. There's no meaning. And due to that, it just feels empty and vacuous. and nonsensical and gobbledygook. And at the end of this film, like after they've gone underwater with the submarines and after all the Cybertron shit has landed on Earth, I just couldn't take it anymore. And there's so much going on in this film, and it means nothing, and it just feels it's awful. It's just awful.
I would say these films are nihilistic in how bad they are. Like these last two especially. Like they make you feel empty.
Yeah. I have a theory about this film, and that's that I feel like they wrote this film, they wrote a script that had like a 6-hour runtime, and someone went to like Micheal Bay or whoever wrote this pile and was like, we can't do a 6-hour film, and they were executed. And then they had this idea that, maybe we should make a slightly smaller film, and they just gutted this 6-hour screen time film to 2.5 hours, and they just took all the connective tissue and they took all of the explanation about what the fuck was going on in this film, and what they were left with was just dot points of things that happened in this plot.
With the amount of things that happen, I can kind of see where you're going with that.
Yeah. But so you get like
the amount
all these
of locations, the amount of things going on, it's insane.
The all the different, like they just tried to deal with so many different things in this film, none of which are addressed properly, none of which are addressed like accurately. Just this film it's insane. It's insanity. It is bereft of sanity. It is bonkers.
Yep.
It makes no sense. Just things happen with no rhyme or reason or will. It's fucking nuts.
It's amazingly bold, and that's not surprising coming from Micheal Bay. I mean, this is one bombastic fucking dude.
Yeah.
Like, he clearly doesn't give a shit. Like, it's so early on, and this is all in the trailers. There's, Optimus Prime goes back to Megatron City.
Yeah. I don't want to go... Should we get into spoilers?
No, this isn't a spoiler.
Okay.
This is who fucking gives a shit?
No,
Shut up.
No. Well, that's fucking part of the podcast. We have the non-spoiler and the spoiler. Fuck,
you cannot spoil this movie after you just screaming
you
about
have
it.
seen this all before.
Yeah, then he's talking to Quintessa, the robot lady, and she's like, "You're a bad guy now," and he's like, "No," and she's like, "You're a bad guy now." He's like, "All right, I am Nemesis Prime," but there's like not even attempt at any kind of plot justification for it or anything.
And I feel like we missed a good 10-minute scene where it explains like him going bad. Like, because you're right. It was just like, you're bad. No, you're bad. Okay.
Yeah, showing like some resistance, or showing the good in him, trying to like fight against being taken over by evil.
Well, it wouldn't take. It was
taken. It was like a switch. It was just like, I'm bad now.
It wouldn't have taken much. Like, you could have had that quite easily. Just the evolution of this Optimus Prime character over these films. He is such an insane fascist.
Yeah,
like they could have so easily just brought because his whole thing in this movie is like, to humans, like, your planet must die so mine can live, and it's like. The way he treats the Decepticons in those earlier films is terrifying.
Fucks people up.
Fucks them up. Like, I was watching a clip from the third one the other day where who cares? Where he axes a guy in the forehead, leaps over him, grabs his head and rips out his head with the spine attached. So I'm like, can you imagine like Captain America doing that shit? That would be amazing. Yeah. I can't believe these films and these heroes in air quotes. Oh my God.
But, watching this film, I finally kind of just said to myself, I get it. This is made for 7-year-olds. It's not made for anyone older than that.
Not like actual 7-year-olds, like
I don't know.
Mentally 7-year-olds.
I don't know, man, because I can't see how anyone can be on board with this.
They clearly can because they're hugely successful films, and that's not just kids watching these.
I just don't get it, man.
Yeah.
I don't get it because there's something really cool in these Transformers movies, which we were talking a little bit after the screening, Connor. So I really like how Micheal Bay tries to go for this military, tangible, realistic, lived-in kind of a thing, and then you get fart jokes and stupid Micheal Bay Transformer, burp jokes, racist,
weird trash talk,
and just these just pinning down cultures into Yeah, I don't know. There's a racism aspect in these films that I'm not on board with.
George, not on board with racism.
Sure, I like racism. Apart from that, more talking about the humor. Far be it from me to lambast someone about their humor. Like, fart jokes can be funny. There are movies that kind of use a baseless sense of humor, whatever you want to call it. But and I don't want to criticize anyone for their sense of humor. Having said that, I think there's something to be said for the way that you integrate humor into a film and the kind of humor that complements certain films.
Yes.
And what was so bizarre about this film was that the humor felt so, kind of almost abstract compared to the overall push of the film.
It doesn't fit, does it?
And I mean, that's kind of saying something because nothing in this film fits. But I mean, like, it's just another example of I feel like this was directed by 6 people, each with their own vision about what the fuck was going on.
See, I don't feel that at all. I think Micheal Bay is an amazingly competent director, and I think he's making the exact films that he wants to make. I think technically he's one of the absolute best in the biz.
I think technically he's a competent director, yes.
Yeah. But I mean, the proof is in the pudding. Like, these movies are all successful. Like, he's making these movies. He knows what he wants them to be, and they are it, and they are working to some degree. I think he's doing exactly what he wants to do.
Yeah, but it just doesn't connect with me. And,
absolutely.
There's some parts of Micheal Bay that I just don't get. For example, there's one bit in this film where the little baddest girl who, on an aside note, I don't know why the hell she's in this film. She has no significance to the plot.
Yeah.
But there's this. I don't know if this is a spoiler, but I don't care. There's this bit where her it's near the beginning of the film. Her Autobot buddy's dying, and she's like, "Wake up! Wake up!" And the robot's like, "I'm dying, and he's struggling. He's like, his last breaths are leaving him, and she's screaming, "Wake up!" And I was like, that just didn't. I was like, why is she saying that? For some reason, that really got on my goat.
Got on it. Got right on that goat.
My pet goat's sitting next to me.
I thought that was Bumblebee. That's a whole other point. Is you can't tell.
But like, why would Micheal Bay direct her in that manner? What
because the whole idea was that
he's crazy.
That her family died in that exclusion zone type thing.
Don't die! Scream that, but wake up.
Oh, I don't know. She's a
kid. I know it seems like very minute, but I think
it's a very small thing to pick
I know,
on.
but I
think
this movie, I think it's one of 100 that I could pick out that highlights the idiotic approach this film has.
Look, before we get too far into this, I want to ask, was there anything about this film that you enjoyed?
I really liked the design of the police robot.
Barricade.
He was dope.
Is the car or the
car?
The humanoid, yeah. The car was cool.
And the humanoid.
He's a cool character. He's always felt very imposing. There's something about it, like a sentient cop car, that is fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
I saw this on a big fuck off screen, like a lot better than what you guys saw it on. So I was able to.
Hey, my screen was fine.
Man, fuck that place. I was able to just watch this very much from a technical perspective, and that's exactly what I did. That's how I got through the 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge fan of ILM and the work they do, and so from that point of view, I enjoyed a lot of it, not as a film, but as like a tech demo.
Yeah.
This is going to be weird to explain. I enjoyed some of the performances kind of individually, separate from how they contributed to the film.
I like Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg's very easy to watch.
He does, yeah.
He's so easy to watch. He's very charismatic.
Yeah.
He's called Cade Yeager.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So for me, it was Stanley Tucci's weird drunken Merlin character in the beginning.
No.
I thought just was kind of quirky and funny.
But
and
he was slozzled. It was great.
Yeah, and like his little speech was it was so far removed from the tone that had been set for the film so far. But I mean the performance itself, like was a kind of a funny monologue.
There was a bit where he was talking, and the the grading changed and the background became really overexposed. And I was looking at this and I was like, this looks like a 14-year-old made it in Final Cut or iMovie. Like, what the fuck am I watching?
Yeah. But so this is what I'm saying. Just his performance, like that little monologue, I thought was kind of quirky and fun. And Anthony Hopkins as this kind of bizarre character. Again, not for what he did for the plot or the movie or anything, but just on its own, was kind of this funny, weird.
He was like 70% a lot of fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was really bad at some part. That bit where he's like, dude, I'm like, I don't like that.
Yeah.
I agree, and I totally get with what you're saying. Just as an entertainment kind of value, Anthony Hopkins really helped get me through this film.
Yeah.
Because the stuff he was saying was so stupid and so bizarre, and his monologues were just so hemmed in there.
I feel like it would have been a good character in a different film.
I don't know.
It's just...
It's just he's a good performer.
He's an amazing performer.
Great to watch. On that note, I love, and in all of these movies, I just love watching Optimus Prime as this fucking unhinged, psychopathic hero leader of the good guys. And every fucking line has to be some amazing platitude
monologue,
about it. Freedom is the right of all sentient beings. I will kill all of them. It's amazing. And he's just doing the same again in this one.
Yeah.
But I felt like even the action scenes where he's going in to kick ass were just, I don't know, they felt
How many times have we seen the Autobots roll in a desert setting where there's one singular road?
Yeah.
And with the helicopter spinning around it, and there's 3 cars alone. I've seen so much of this film before. I seriously think a lot of the action sequences you could cobble together from the last ones. There was very little new stuff in here. And I switch off. I switch off because I go, I've seen this before. I know it's visual noise. My brain switches off.
There was negative stuff even. In these last 2, I feel like Micheal Bay has just really gotten bored with Transformers. He's not interested in them anymore. In the 4th one, they barely transformed. In this one, there's like no kind of vehicle stuff in it really. And there's not even that much like robot fighting. It's mostly like the military and stuff now. It feels like he's really overworking with these robots, you know?
Yeah. That's a good observation.
There's some cool new stuff with Bumblebee, the way he kind of came back together. That first scene where he comes back together in slow-mo, that was...
But it was such a... I was still reeling from the bizarreness of that scene. And this is the problem. Nothing in this movie fits together.
Nothing.
Individually, some of them are cool scenes, but and individually, some of these are cool performances, and individually, you know, there's some cool theme. But together, when you cobble this mess together, it doesn't make any sense, and it's so... I don't even know how to describe this film. That's the problem. My brain keeps jumping from one thing that I saw in this film to another to just like all over the place, and I can't grasp onto one thing in this film.
It's like getting a bunch of ingredients that should be good together and half blending them so they don't even make a combined liquid to drink. Yeah. And it's like kind of these gloopy things that coexist, but it doesn't blend and it doesn't create a complete thing to consume.
It's like,
and that's what this thing is. It's just like a patchwork.
Yeah.
And the patches aren't sewn together properly. It's fucked. And the whole thing is fucked.
Yeah.
And fuck, I don't want to ever watch one of these movies again because they're shit. They're so shit.
I liked the baby Dinobots.
They were cute.
Yeah, I didn't mind those.
I want the
completely and utterly unnecessary.
I like the cute
it was weird. It's like, where the fuck did these come from?
I like the cute little blue robot with the big eyes. I was like, that merchandise-wise, he is so cute. People will love him. But Micheal Bay can't direct it in a way that makes those
sense.
Like an endearing and cute.
So, all right, I will...
Like BB-8, he could have created the next BB-8 with that character. Potentially.
Look,
potentially.
But the movie's not focused at all on those characters.
And no way Micheal Bay has the chops to be able to create that.
Yeah. Look, I think we need to do something at this point because this movie and therefore the review of this movie is so haphazard and like just all over the place.
Seems appropriate.
Do we just say from now on Spoilers.
Let's
We
go
can just say
Spoilers
whatever
the
we
whole
want.
time.
I
I'm
know
not
it
worried
is.
about spoiling this film.
But I mean, for whatever reason that
if
you
you're
want to
if
go
you're
see this
deeply
film.
invested in the mythology of the Transformers films, go fuck yourself firstly, and then watch the film and come back.
with your toy Optimus.
we can give our we'll give our opinions of it. And I will go first, and I will say this: do not see this film. Don't, or if you must see this film, see it in a way that will not provide money to these fuckers that made it. I beg of you. Just listen to the rest of this podcast. I guarantee you it will be more interesting than actually seeing this film.
Sneak into the cinema.
Yeah. If you need to see robots fighting each other, go watch Pacific Rim. Go watch the first 3 of these. I don't care, but do not see this film.
Do any robots fight robots in Pacific Rim?
No, I don't think so.
No,
shit.
they don't.
That's why these movies are successful.
Yeah.
'Cause there's no competition. Go watch
Real
what
Steel.
Oh fuck.
Do not go watch Real Steel.
I was trying to think of that movie. Then when you said it, I'm like, oh.
Don't.
Yeah.
Go watch
Fuck
Neon
that movie.
Genesis Evangelion. Enjoy, my friends.
Or go play Titanfall. I don't know.
Thank me later. Send me a postcard when you're in heaven.
yeah, don't see
I'm
this
going to
film.
give my thoughts. 100% agree with you, Connor. Do not go see this. This is a horrible film. This is worse than I expected. I thought it was going to be a bland, boring film, but I actually wanted to poke my eyes out in this movie. It was so awful on every account. I hope this franchise dies. I hope the Bumblebee film it has a little bit of something else because I am so fatigued by this franchise and I die, please.
Okay, I hope they never make another one of these. I hope this one doesn't do very well. I hope we can move on to bigger and better things. Maybe even something else with the Transformers franchise where they actually try and do something good or interesting with it. Something for those poor Transformers fans, those poor long-suffering Transformers fans who have had to suffer through indignities that I can't even imagine. I mean, I'm a Ninja Turtles fan and I've been treated so much better than these poor guys. That being said, I didn't hate the experience of sitting through this film like you clearly did. Maybe part of that was that I was in a really nice cinema. I went to the premiere. It was fucking sweet.
Yeah, they always get you at the premiere.
Yeah. No, it was weird actually. There was no like hype guy like, oh man, we got this great film. He just came out and it's like, we're happy you're here. But these poor Paramount people, they didn't seem happy about anything. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people out there might be like me and kind of just have to see it as a morbid curiosity thing. Like I can't imagine a situation where I don't watch one of these when it comes out. And it helps that I see all this shit for free. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't hate sitting through it. There were some funny moments intentionally. There were some hilarious moments unintentionally. It's such a weird mishmash. It's fascinating in its own way.
Yeah, I wish I could say I was fascinated by it, but I'm not.
Yeah, and again, I will say I really think Micheal Bay is an amazingly talented blockbuster filmmaker. I just think he doesn't have any interest in making good films.
Yep,
generally.
Yeah, no, scope and spectacle, he's able to do it. It's a problem that you don't feel anything when it's on screen.
Yeah.
Well, see, I'm gonna.
It's because you don't care about the characters, so there's no sense. Like at the end there,
he doesn't care.
Oh, I mean,
about
we're in
characters.
spoilers right now.
Yeah.
At the end there, when Mark Wahlberg is fighting amongst Bumblebee and Optimus Prime.
Oh my god.
You didn't feel like any. I was not like, oh man, Mark Wahlberg or Kate Yeager's gonna get squashed. It's like, wow.
That'd be cool if he did. That'd be hilarious.
There's no. It just doesn't. There's no sense of tension or threat, or there's no stakes.
Yeah.
It just kind of meanders along.
Can I paint a comparison for you guys? Because we talked earlier about the reason for Optimus Prime going bad was just so lackluster and disappointing. I felt like the reason for him becoming good again was just as bizarre, and all I could think of was Batman vs Superman just saying like Martha. It was like the robot equivalent. Martha.
I would say this is 100 times better than Martha.
But it was just
because just like not in an execution way, but in an in-paper way, like the way Bumblebee hasn't spoken for like 5 films, and at the end of this, he's finally like Optimus Prime, I would lay down my life for you, and I can see how that would be meant to be a big moment. Like that makes a lot more thematic sense than the Martha thing.
Kind of makes sense, but like
I think it works a lot better
time,
even than when Optimus goes bad at the beginning. I think
that
was the closest that this movie came to having a touching moment. I don't think it worked because who cares about all this, but it makes sense.
Oh no, the touching moment was definitely Anthony Hopkins dying.
Oh, that was so good. That was so good. And I loved how he just spun.
His triple axle backflip.
Holy shit.
I don't know if you guys noticed this, but like Anthony Hopkins, if he had to do anything more than a brisk walk, it looked like they got like a stunt double in, and you just get the shot on the back of his head, like running it down a passage. That was so fucking bizarre.
You know what's so funny is like these guys, like, when was the last time that somebody got cast in one of these films as a good guy, not the villain of the piece, and is going to definitely stick around for 3 to 5 movies?
Mark Wahlberg, man.
Yeah, exactly. They all stick around, but Anthony Hopkins is in about 3/4 of this film, and they gets taken the fuck out with a missile.
One and done, man.
Like one and done.
And for the most stupid reason, I love how he just walks up to Stonehenge, apparently no one notices him, walks up and then thinks, I'm gonna fire my fucking cane at the main bad guy, and the bad guy's like, oh, fuck you.
Yeah.
I mean, he was pretty loony. It's like this seems in character for him.
It was so funny, man. And just like the film stopped very early on, Anthony Hopkins' monologues came, his monologues came in and voiceovers over the top. It was so funny.
I just he came in at a point where I was like, oh, no, we've passed the point where you can just come in with a monologue like that or like narration.
Yeah.
Like now it's
we're
just
into
weird.
the thrust of the film.
Do you guys like his little robot butler friend, Cogman?
Cogsworth?
Cogman.
Was it Cogman?
Cogsworth is Beauty and the Beast.
Oh. I much prefer Cogsworth.
Idiot.
I don't know.
I thought at points he was kind of fun.
Yeah,
and at other points he was very grating.
Design.
I really like the design, the whole clockwork kind of gold and stuff. Yeah,
that was cool.
But when he's in the car going like, "Boom, bitch, get out of the way," I'm like, "This is the worst thing I've ever seen." I was sitting in a cinema with like 200 people, and we're all just like, and there were like people from Paramount in there. I'm like, "Oh, you poor motherfuckers."
What did you think of what did you think of his the running gag of him singing and playing the organ?
Oh.
That entire scene just made me cringe.
Yeah, that was another bit that was a bit like, okay.
Finally, Cogman, it has begun. I was like, oh my God, is that the most generic line I've ever heard in my fucking life?
The dialogue in this film was really, really bad.
Really bad. Like the most generic stuff I've ever heard.
That first prologue, like the King Arthur, the Arthurian legend shit, was so badly scripted and just it felt weird.
Very well photographed. I've got to say, some of the slow-mo with the dirt flying up.
It was not the worst
amazing.
King Arthur stuff we've seen this year.
Oh, please. But I do love the fact that Micheal Bay managed to make an Arthurian 400 AD thing still look full of explosions.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's like he's becoming a parody of himself.
Yeah. I mean, but what did you guys think of that whole kind of the trend? We reported, a couple of weeks ago on our weekly show Top 8 where, they're going to go ahead and do a Transformers film set in Rome, and they're going to do one set in this historical timeline. And how did you guys think they did with that whole trying to infuse, the Transformers folk, mythos with, Merlin and magic, and they were the contributor to magic.
I would like to see more of it.
Yeah, you know what? I'm kind of a sucker for that shit.
Clearly.
I will excuse quite a bit of nonsense in a film.
They didn't, but they just didn't push it.
Well, no, they didn't, and it kind of speaks to how bad this film is that I'm not going to give it a pass for that. Because I will watch some horrendous shit if it's got some cool mythos and just some really
interesting ideas.
That kind of shit.
I really enjoyed the 15-minute little dialogue about the Da Vinci Code style conspiracy to hide the Transformers, the Witwickens. So
Shia's little cameo.
The girl in this, I love that Shia LaBeouf cameo. I laughed out loud in the cinema of that. It's such a good little photo. So the main woman in this is a descendant of Merlin. So she can use the staff or something.
She was actually quite good in this.
I thought she was good. Yeah.
I enjoyed her performance, and I thought that she was relatable.
Yeah,
and I was on her side.
All right, and this kind of, it's a bit boohist, but like I feel like she was in there to be kind of almost a pair of tits.
Oh my god!
Because
of course, it's a Michael Bay film.
But this
the
is the
third
thing,
one
like,
opened up on that Huntington Whiteley's girl's ass.
Yeah,
like literally
and
shoved in there, and that's part of the.
So you get, this is what really frustrates me because she comes out and she is kind of a cool character. I like that like it was a weird interaction with her aunts and her mother and stuff like that. I thought, all right, cool, but the entire scene, you're just like. You're being shot as like this bimbo, like this weird push-up bra type thing. I was like, this is fucking so bizarre. Like, I don't like how the Transformer films kind of just slot, hot girl number one here. And like, that's just a staple of these films. I feel like it's such a shitty fucking thing to do. Like,
I think she was, I don't know. I don't think it's all that egregious. Not compared to the earlier films, at least. Like as George, you said, I agree. I think she was really good in the role. I thought she was given her all. I think everyone performance-wise kind of was doing a good job, and she looked good in the role. So did fucking Mark Wahlberg. Holy crap, that dude is ripped as shit.
Oh, holy shit. But I think the part of it might have been that there's a precedent set by these films that role is kind of.
Designated hot girl.
There's nothing in this anywhere near like Megan Fox, like
on the bike,
bent over on the bike.
Yeah,
like the camera's going right up there.
What do you guys think about Bumblebee going back to fight Nazis?
Oh my god, that was really
how weird was that?
Strange.
I think that's a testament. Like that, the submarine, the space shit. Like how much was this? That's what I'm talking about with how much was going on with this film.
That must have been like testing the waters for that Bumblebee spin-off or something. Because it was so random. It was just like you see a poster of Bumblebee in wartime, and then there's just this whole 10-minute scene about him fighting Nazis.
What the fuck?
Yeah, very strange. And Bumblebee is like not a character, man. He doesn't talk in these movies.
To be honest, I feel more for Bumblebee through the fact that seems to be one of the main interactions with him and Sam Witwicky and him and Kate Yeager. Kate Yeager? What the fuck his name is. That kind of relationship seems for me to be kind of the emotional focal point of the film, I guess.
I would agree, but I feel like that ended once Witwicky left. Once Shia LaBeouf was gone. And now he's just a guy who's there. I've always been fascinated by the way this movie treats its Transformer characters because they're so disposable. Literally, like in the movies, like in the first one, Jazz, I think, just gets ripped in half for no reason. Yeah. But then movie to movie, the cast of Transformers changes completely every single time with no explanation. This is the first one, I think, that brings back the Transformer characters from the previous film because it has John Goodman's character.
God, I hate that character.
What did we think of
the Nam character?
Yeah, sorry to kind of go on a tangent because let's be honest, that's what this is about. That weird montage scene where Megatron's trying to assemble his crew.
Oh my god!
And it was like the name and like
the Suicide Squad scene. Yeah,
yes,
that was really weird.
Fuck was that?
But then they all died in the next scene.
Oh, wow.
It was like the roll call for the Decepticons.
I don't get this movie.
I thought the scene was fun. I thought it was fun. I thought it was cool seeing all these weird new Decepticons. But then they're all just gone.
Yeah.
And if they had set up for this film to be presented in that way, I think that is an awesome way to do Transformers. Who doesn't love that kind of shit?
Sell
the
those toys,
badass name comes up and they do a cool pose. Dope. But Transformers, this felt like they once again just. Oh, a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Put that here. Oh, that's cool. Put that there.
It didn't make sense.
It didn't make sense.
Was one of them Nitro Zeus or something?
Yeah. And one of them, like the really crazy one, they're just like, no, we're not going to give you them. And then that was the last you saw of them.
I like that. That was a good gag. That was funny.
But just the entire scene did not fit with the rest of the movie. Like it was just this bizarre, like part of the problem with this film is that they tried to tackle way too many things at once. Like,
so much so that you can't. I couldn't tell you what the plot of this film is.
Oh yeah, think about how many conflicts there are. There's humans versus Decepticons. There's Autobots versus Decepticons. There's Autobots versus Autobots. There's humans versus Decepticons. There's humans versus Autobots. There's humans versus humans. There's and then that's not even including the fact that the villain, which wasn't a villain. Whatever the fuck her name was.
Quintessa.
Her versus everyone.
there's a lot of nonsensical distractions in this thing. I think the plot is pretty simple though. It's the same as all the other ones.
What is it?
It's get the thing. It's the same MacGuffin story that they all have. The first one was the Allspark.
What did they have to get in this one?
Second one was the Matrix of leadership. This one was the staff.
Oh, the staff.
Everyone wanted to get the staff.
See, I forgot. I forgot that, and I saw it last night.
Yeah, I mean,
I did have 18 beers before we went to it.
It was Speaking of the staff, this really hurt because it's ILM and I expected better. But that last scene with like zero gravity falling in that thing was fucking horrendous.
I thought that was good.
There was a point where
I was like, ILM, you're dropping the ball, man.
There was a couple of scenes. I mean, and I'm not gonna harp on about it because 95% of this film just looked stunning, but that last one, particularly where Mark Wahlberg throws Laura Haddock towards the staff, that just was so bad. And I was like, how are you dropping the ball here? Like, this is the one thing that this movie has going for it. Yeah.
See, I thought this movie looked great from start to finish, and that big kind of anti-grav climax part, I thought was the closest this movie came to being kind of like rousing, like almost getting me involved. Like I thought if the previous 2 hours had been a really good movie, I'm like, oh, this could be a really cool climax to like a good movie.
No.
I thought so. That trailer came out, and it was Mark Wahlberg interacting with Bumblebee and Optimus fighting, and I thought they would improve it from the trailer. How wrong I was. That still looked terrible, I thought. Well, the composite job was
bad. You got to see this on the VMAX, man. I thought it looked great. No, I saw it in 3D, actually, I should mention.
Oh, really? You poor soul.
No, it was great.
Yeah?
It's really good, yeah. I can't sing enough praises for the cinema I saw the film in. Yeah. It was really, really good.
Yeah.
And the 3D was the best kind of 3D, which is the one you don't notice whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like,
I wonder if that made a difference because I'll be honest, that there was one scene when they were fighting, that was one of the scenes that I was talking about where they dropped the ball a little bit. Like it just didn't look polished.
The composite job looked awful.
Yeah.
Awful, I tell you.
Well, certainly awful for ILM.
Yeah.
And I don't think I can remember any other point in this franchise where I thought that they really let the ball drop.
I think there was the fourth one. The fourth one
did not look.
The third one had one really chunky shot.
But I mean, at the end of the day, that's not the worst thing.
The one where Shia LaBeouf gets on the top of the Transformer.
Oh,
he swings around and gets on the back of it. And it's like, oh, I did not want to see that.
I just watched that highway chase from the third one again the other day, where Bumblebee transforms mid-drive and throws Shia out in slow-mo. I fucking love that. I love it so much.
This film has nothing of that.
Yeah. I think this and the last one have nothing of. You get those really cool little action moments interspersed in the first three. I think. Like in the first one, there's that.
Isn't that what this whole thing is? Transformers, like cars transforming into robots, doing cool shit.
I don't think the series
and transforming back.
I don't think it's ever topped that like Starscream battle where he's flying along, transforming into the humanoid and back into the plane. And that was fucking badass.
He's dropped the ball.
And this is there was a point, and I don't know why I hoped it because I don't know why I expected anything of this film where Optimus Prime faces off against that guy that's like an amalgamation of those 8 horned demon things, and I was like, fuck yeah, this horned demon guy looks cool.
Yeah.
Optimus Prime is gonna face off with him. It's gonna be a cool battle. And then he's like, I'm Optimus Prime, and then just like beheads all 8 of them in one swell. And
that was in the trailer.
That was so unbelievably anticlimactic.
Weak.
I was like, this was your moment. This was a time to make a cool, badass fight where
that was a pretty badass moment though. He beheaded like 8 guys.
No, but see, I was like, that was just so. Ugh.
Yeah, I was over it.
I mean, like I was so down to like see him either take on a big guy or take on 8 little guys, like anything that was just not.
But guys, what about the massive reveal? Earth is Unicron.
Oh yeah, for all those big Transformers fans. Oh wait, no, the post-credit scene was fucking hectic. They're like, this works for Marvel all the time. Let's give this a shot.
Yeah, it definitely feels like they're trying to expand their own little Hasbro universe now.
Bring on Beast Wars, I say.
Yeah, let's just trash this and Optimus Primal.
Trash.
Well, they're kind
trash
of going that way.
I
you know
reckon.
what? For a spin-off,
You'll sell so many toys if you do that well.
For a spin-off type thing, because we mentioned it before, and I've always said that I'm a bit of a sucker for kind of going into like the past and the mythos of a world. The design and the story behind those knights, I would be kind of interested in.
I wish they'd done a bit more with that. I was actually really amped for that because I think the design of those was cool.
And just the kind of the power behind that, like when you get this kind of mythical, all-powerful, like ancient statue type thing, like you're like, oh, fucking sick. And then they didn't really do much. Like they transform into a dragon and... I think they did something.
I love how at the end of the fourth one, Optimus Prime's like, I'm coming for you, my creator. And then it's just like in the beginning of this one, he just is at Cybertron and he's like, you, my creator, you're here. That's great.
It's so bizarre too. Like,
but that's why, so that's why I think it's made for 8-year-olds.
Yeah, no, it feels like an actual, like kids playing with their toys.
Yeah,
like
that's what I mean.
How dumb that would be and how little kind of narrative.
Do you know what this feels like? And this was something that our friend Kieran Gilfeather mentioned. This seems like a video game cutscene, like the dialogue and just the kind of the haphazard.
I can see that.
It feels like that scene where he gets to Krypton feels like Krypton, whether fucking it's Cybertron. Krypton.
Krypton's gone, man.
When he gets to Cybertron, it just feels like a cutscene. And that there should be some backstory or something that we're not seeing, and that it just feels like a bunch of cutscenes just put next to each other.
Yep,
it's incredibly bizarre.
Here's a funny little thing though. Lorenzo de Bonaventura, who is the producer for this series, just recently came out talking in an interview about the Quintessa character, the main bad guy. Chick in this, and how. Apparently she was human and she created the Transformers race or something. So it's
how cool does that sound?
So it's like the Transformers were on Earth at the time of the dinosaurs or something. And then she was human. But anyway, it's amazing.
Did she send Transformers back in time? Like it's their split timeline?
Yeah, it's like,
it must be.
It's like just the series' own disregard for its own continuity is
like
amazing.
Literally,
I love it.
It's literally like what they do is they have a wall and they write a bunch of story ideas up on that wall.
I don't think they
squares.
put that much effort into this.
And then Micheal Bay takes a shit in the palm of his hand and he throws it at the wall, and whatever sticks, that's what we go with, guys.
No, I don't think so. I think
that's my
just
theory.
Like the script is like barely there, and it's like the guys got to, everyone's got to get the thing, and they just have to decide what the thing is this time.
The script is dot points. We'll film these
we'll do it
things, live. And a prime example, when they get into the sub, and the sub turns out to be a transformer, and then the next scene is someone saying the sub leapt into the water, and then you just see the submarine going. You're like, where was the scene of it leaping into the water? Like that's
how cool would that have been?
I feel like that's a necessary scene.
Come on, man.
Yeah, why was there not why didn't that transform? That was really weird.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Micheal Bay not interested in the Transformers anymore because
a
they're just not in it.
747 jumbo jet transforming. Let's do this. Let's do this.
Yeah, let's make more Transformers movies.
Come on, man. I'm a massive fan of Thunderbirds. I love big vehicles. I love this shit. There's so much room for this to be decent.
Fun.
Decent. It doesn't have to be great. It doesn't have to be incredible. It just has to be okay.
You know what I need this to be?
Not.
I need this to be Pacific Rim. Pacific Rim is in so many aspects just like a shitty film. Like the acting in that is pretty horrendous. And
yeah, but at least it's got a bit of love. And
but it does. It's
attention to detail.
I can watch that and have a fun time. Like it's. I don't have to be watching Oscar material or anything. With this, it's just there's absolutely no love and I don't mean no love put into this in the sense like this obviously took an incredible amount of effort to make, particularly on the side of like the special effects team and all of that, but. In terms of a kind of a high level aspect of this film, there's just it feels so vacuous.
Yeah.
Of any kind of real purpose or thought.
But yeah, let's listen. I think we got it out there. But I want to ask you guys, are you pumped for Bumblebee the movie? And, Paramount have said there's 14 and more Transformers movies coming. Micheal Bay has said for the 4th movie running that this will be his last one. Do you think, this is a pretty long-winded question, I apologize, but do you think that somebody else coming in will give Bumblebee, hope? Or is Paramount, are they just too infused in this franchise?
No, they're still working with the shitty blueprint that's been laid out for this series. Like, how much can they possibly do with like Micheal Bay's Bumblebee character? I'd rather watch another Transformers movie than to see a Bumblebee movie. I'm not interested.
I want to see Beast Wars.
Yeah, I'd like to see some Beast Wars. I want to see Dino Riders. Why haven't they done that shit yet?
I like I said, I guess I'm kind of interested to see Transformers set in that old mythos thing, but at the same time, if they never made another Transformers film, I'd be okay with that.
I'd be so happy.
I'd
be joyous.
Just for the poor schmucks who like Transformers, I'd just make one where it's like the original Transformer designs and they look like that and they turn into the vehicles. Like,
well,
I don't even care about the designs.
No,
the designs are cool.
No, I don't like them very
much.
But the original designs are cool, and these things look nothing like that, and they keep getting further and further away from it. But I think I'm saying for those fans, like, you would say I'd be happy or fine if they never made another one of these. I would essentially too, but I think it would just be nice for those poor people if they got one.
Wouldn't that be Transformers 1 though? Isn't that kind of closer to...
No, that is fucking the same Micheal Bay bullshit that all of these are.
You're talking about the Japanese anime. The 80s cartoon.
Cartoon, yeah. Like for the fans of that shit.
Yeah.
of that toy commercial garbage.
I mean, like, that was built... The purpose that this is the fundamental problem with Transformers, and Transformers nerds, correct me if I'm wrong, but Transformers the cartoon series was created to sell more toys.
Yeah, okay? so was everything we all loved as a kid.
No, it's often the other way around.
Come on, George.
Star Wars.
Merchandising.
No. Star Wars was are you seriously saying that George Lucas created Star Wars so he could sell toys? He created Star Wars so he could make the film, and then subsequently, the merchandising thing has happened. Yes, they are.
I'm not sure we can never know. I don't know about that.
Yes, you build in your merchandising into your film. Of course you do. Yes.
Anyway,
but this was more inherently done.
We don't need to worry about that. I completely agree that the original cartoon's crappy, but you like Beast Wars growing up.
I love Beast Wars.
There's been great stuff done with the Transformers over the years. The IDW comics, I think, probably there's been some fantastic stories told, and it would be cool to see someone give this stuff the respect that it deserves only on the level of the people who love it out there.
Yeah, I agree. And it's not getting respected right now at all.
No, not at all.
It's getting manhandled.
Yeah. Just bad things are happening to it.
Yeah, well, is there anything else you guys got to get off your chest?
Did we talk about the complete and utter unnecessary including of that girl, of the daughter figure?
Yeah, I kind of touched upon that.
Yeah.
Can I touch on it again?
Oh,
yeah.
Completely unnecessary.
Wow. Hey, Michael.
It was weird. I just there's that first everything that she was in. And the first 20 minutes of the film, I think, could be cut. And
the whole movie could be cut.
I think you said it in an episode of Top 8. You said her character feels like a bunch of producers at a boardroom saying, we need strong females. We need a young, spunky girl because that's our market. She needs to be Latino.
Yeah.
We got to hit bullet point. And this is who we're going to sculpt this character. Unfortunately, the character doesn't do fuck all in the movie, so it doesn't mean anything, you fucking tools.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus. But yeah, I agree. I feel like so many of these characters are kind of like parodied archetype nonsense driven shitbags.
The only way those archetypes work is if they actually have a fucking journey. But the story.
The whole idea of kind of the archetype is that there's this kind of like the Joker is essentially an archetype, and it can work because you can't really get away from archetypes, but once they become parodies of themselves and they can become vacuous of of any kind of meaning within a storyline, then you get what you get in this. Like you get
Vacuous is your word.
Actually, I think it was Ben's, and
no, it was mine.
Oh, was it yours? Yeah, I don't know whose it is,
The
but
Joker,
I hear like a word like
Joker as an archetype.
Joker
is
an archetype.
A jester. Is
But
that what you
the
mean?
Joker is essentially it's the same shit.
What are we talking about?
All I'm saying is like, I don't know. I hate everything about this film. Fuck it.
What about Steve Buscemi? Wasn't that weird?
Yeah.
When he showed up as like a character who looked exactly like John Goodman's character, like you just said,
I was confusing
Doesn't he play the little robot
fatter and
as well?
shorter.
Doesn't he play the little robot?
I don't know.
No,
The little baby blue one? And he's always like,
no,
saying
that's
funny
Tom
things.
Kenny, SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh.
That's actually, if I can say a positive thing about this series, the voice cast for the Transformers themselves is largely taken from the voice actor world. They don't cast a lot of celebrities in there. There's John Goodman, Steve Buscemi pops up in this one, but it's
Who plays doesn't Hugo Weaving play Megatron?
Hugo Weaving. I
he
loved in the first three, and he got out of it. It was Frank Welker in this one, who was the original voice of Megatron, who probably should have been there from the beginning since they got Peter Cullen for Optimus.
Yeah. I miss Hugo Weaving.
I really loved
Megatron.
Hugo Weaving in these movies. So it's kind of weird to say I would have preferred him to be in it, even though Frank Welker's the original.
Speaking of Megatron, what the fuck did he do in this film?
I don't know.
Why was he there?
What
was that weird
I love
flamethrower
how he
thing in
looks
the
different
beginning?
in everyone.
I'd really forgotten that he came back in the last one. I was like, wait, why is Megatron in this? And they were like, oh, we spotted Megatron. I'm like, ooh, are they going to explain how Megatron came back? And I'm like, oh, no, he came back in the last one. And apparently he did.
Yeah, there's so much of this film was so unbelievably unnecessary.
I did like the design of Megatron, though. I think the rusted look, it was cool. It was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's another episode.
Hey.
Another review down.
This is 2 films this year that have been shockingly bad. And they've both been the fifth installment in big franchises.
Yeah, that's a good observation. That's exactly what they've been.
Okay, man, the 5th installment is not good, generally. What are the odds? I think there's been a lot of bad movies this year. I think this has been not a great blockbuster season at all.
It started off really great. And I said to Benny, is this the year?
This is it.
Is this the year we finally made it?
Yeah.
But I think next week we're going to have best and worst so far of 2017.
Well, I think we
for the
definitely
first
know
half
it'll
of
be
the year.
Worst.
Cool. Get to relive all of that.
Spoiler, this is the worst.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining us on this episode. Hopefully you made it out of Transformers like we just about did, because that was tough.
You're all going to go see it. We did. We've all watched all 5 of these things. Everyone's going to come back for all of them. They're all going to make money. You're going to do it.
Yeah. I think this
But
was the
please don't.
One final thing is, I think this was the first movie during us starting the podcast that it felt like a job.
Yeah.
We literally had the argument, which was like, we have to see it. Like, there's so many
like
things that we'd rather
up
be
here
doing.
playing arms, having a great time drinking beer, and I was like, damn, I'm having so much fun. I have to go watch Transformers.
I saw it days ago. If I had to watch this and you guys didn't, I would have been pissed.
We would never do that to you, man. We considered it.
Man.
We definitely considered it. I won't lie to you. Anyway, we'll be back next week with some other movie.
Something better.
Hopefully. It's been a pleasure, as always. Connor.
Hello.
Benny.
Freedom is the right of all sentient beings.
I can't. I don't know. Bye, everyone.